Hi everybody, welcome to our section 2.2 lecture video on simplifying expressions. So some basic things about simplifying expressions. First off is that you can only add or subtract like terms. You may have heard that before. So what are like terms? Like terms are terms that had the same variable or variables, if there's more than one, and they have the same exponents that go with those variables. So it might be like an x squared y and an x squared y kind of a term, but not an xy squared. Just for example, like the squared has to go with the x, and just a regular y, just for example. So let's do a quick example of just which of the following are like terms. So in A, I've got 5x, 10y, 2x squared, negative 3x, and 10. So the ones that have the same variable and the same exponent that goes with those variables would be the 5x and the negative 3x. Notice that the y is a different variable. The x squared has a different exponent, and of course the 10 doesn't have any variables at all. Okay? So that's what we're looking for. They can have different coefficients, that's perfectly fine. That's the amount of those variables that we have, and that's all good. Okay? Let's do another one. We've got 2, negative 8xy, 4x squared, 7xy, and 4x squared y. Which of those do you think would be like terms? Hopefully you're answering the negative 8xy and 7xy. Those would be like terms. Okay? Once you've identified those like terms, how do you add or subtract them? So you add or subtract like terms by adding or subtracting the coefficients. So add or subtract the coefficients. And then the variable part of it stays the same. So if you were adding that negative 8xy and the 7xy, it would still have an xy in your answer, okay? So the variable part stays the same. Okay. Another tool when you're simplifying expressions is using the distributive property. So if you look in a textbook at what is the distributive property, it's going to look something like this. A parentheses B plus C equals A times B plus A times C. That's what it's going to look like. And so you may be wondering, why does it work like that? And so let me show you a quick visual of why the distributive property works, and then we're going to practice. So why it works is if you look at a little area model, because area for a rectangle is length times width. So A times B plus C, what that would look like visually would be a rectangle where the width is A and the length is B plus C. So this little length is B and that bigger length is C in my example here, okay? And so that would be the area of the whole thing. You could also say that the area of the whole thing is these two little rectangles added together. And so the area of this first rectangle would be length times width. So A times B. The length of the second rectangle would be length times width again. So we would have A for this dimension and C for that dimension. So A times C. And so the area of the whole thing would also be AB plus AC. And that's why this works, in case you're wondering, okay? So let's practice that a little bit. We're going to practice distributing first and then combining like terms in a minute. So if you're distributing, in our first one we have 8 times k plus 3. So if you want to distribute that, that would be 8 times k plus 8 times 3. So 8 times k would be 8k plus 8 times 3 would be 24. So that would be simplifying that expression, okay? And another one, we have 2 times x minus 4. So if you use the distributive property, that would be 2 times x, which is 2x. It has a minus here, so do we. Then 2 times 4, which would be 8, okay? Last one, let's deal with some negatives here. We have negative 7 times 10 minus 2x. And so we're distributing. We're going to have negative 7 times 10, which is negative 70. And then we're going to have negative 7 times a minus 2x, or if you want to think about that as a plus a negative 2x, that negative times a negative will give us a positive 14x. So that's what the simplifying looks like with just the distributive property. Next up, let's practice combining like terms. So my first one, I have 3x plus 5x. So first off, are they like terms? They both have an x, and they're both just an x to the first power. That doesn't have an exponent, it's not squared or cubed or anything like that. So yes, they are like terms, so we can add them. So when you're adding those two terms, you're going to add the coefficients. 3 plus 5 is 8. And then the variable part stays the same. If you want to think about this, that would be like having 3 xylophones, and then adding 5 more xylophones. Now we have 8 xylophones. They didn't magically become like boxes of xylophones or cubes of xylophones. Okay? So it's still just x's. Let's do another one. I have 5w minus 19w. Are they like terms? Yes, they have the same variable with the same exponent. They're just w's in both. So then we can subtract by subtracting the coefficients. 5 minus 19 would be negative 14. And then the variable part stays the same, so it's negative 14w. Okay? In part C, I have 3a plus 2a plus 7a minus 5. Are they like terms? Well, some of them are. All of the a's, so the 3a, the 2a, and the 7a are like terms, but the 5 is not. Okay? That one does not have the same variable. It doesn't have an a. So let's go ahead and add these together. 3a plus 2a would be 5a, and then 5a plus 7a would be 12a. And if you're wondering, what do you do with that minus 5? We just bring it down. And that's as simplified as this one can get because they are not like terms, so we can't subtract those at all. They're going to be separate terms at the end. Okay? In part D, we've got 6y minus 4 plus 2y minus y plus 3. So let's go ahead and find some like terms. First ones I see are the y's. So I've got 6y, 2y, and a minus y. Those are all like terms. So 6y plus 2y is 8y. Minus y would be 7y. Then I noticed that the minus 4 and 3, those are like terms. They don't have any variables. They're both constants. So the minus 4 and plus 3 are also like terms. So negative 4 plus 3 would be negative 1. So my simplified expression would be 7y minus 1. Part E, we have 12ab plus 20a minus 15ab plus 3b. I'm going to give you guys a moment. See if you can try that one. So go ahead and pause your video. Go ahead and work it out. And I will show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. You should be getting negative 3ab plus 20a plus 3b as an answer. And if you have those terms in a different order, you're still right. So you could have written that in another order. Maybe you have 20a plus 3b minus 3ab, for example. The nice thing is that commutative property, again, where you can add things in a different order, and it's still the same sum. So you can rearrange your terms, and you're still correct. Okay? Last one I have is part F. We have negative y plus 2x plus 3y minus 7 minus 5x minus 4. I'm going to let you guys try one more just to check your understanding. So go ahead and pause your video, work that one out, and I will show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Alright, you guys should have, let's see, negative 3x. That would be plus 2y and minus 11 for that one. Hopefully that worked out well for you. The next thing we're going to do is combine both of those together. So we're going to simplify expressions where we're going to be distributing and combining like terms. We're going to be doing both. So when you need to do both of those things, you always distribute first and combine like terms second. Okay? And the reason you do that is going back to order of operations, that you should do multiplication before addition and subtraction. Okay? So let's try a few. In my first one, I have 5 times x plus 3 minus 6. I'm going to distribute first. The 5 only distributes to the x and the plus 3. So that would be 5x plus 15. And then I'm going to bring down the minus 6. Now that I've distributed, I can combine like terms. So my like terms are 15 and minus 6. And 15 minus 6 is 9. So I have 5x plus 9 would be my simplified answer. Okay, let's try another one. In B, I have 2 times 7 minus 3a, and then there's a plus a. So I'll distribute first. So 2 times 7 is 14, minus 2 times 3a is 6a, and then I'm going to bring down the plus a. Once we've done that, I notice my like terms are a negative 6a and then positive a. And negative 6a plus a is negative 5a. So we can write that as 14 minus 5a. Or if you like rearranging, you could also do negative 5a plus 14. Okay. Well, let's do another one. In part C, we have 3 times y plus 2 minus 5y plus 1. So if I distribute, I'll have 3y plus 6. And then I'm going to bring down minus 5y plus 1. Then looking for like terms, my y's are like terms. 3y minus 5y is negative 2y. My constants are also like terms. So plus 6 and plus 1 would be plus 7. And that's as much as I can do on that one. Okay. D is an interesting one because we have a minus with a parenthesis, so that's going to be fun. So I have 5 times q minus 7 minus parenthesis 6q plus 5. So let's distribute first. So if I distribute the 5, that'll be 5q minus 35. When you have minus with a parenthesis, it means that you're subtracting everything in it. So we do need to distribute the subtraction. So that would be minus 6q and minus 5. Now that we've distributed, you can look for like terms. 5q minus 6q would be negative 1q, or just negative q. Negative 35 minus 5 would be minus 40. Okay, so that would be the simplified expression there. Are you guys about ready to try one? Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to try E. Go ahead and pause your video and work that one out. It is negative parentheses 3w minus 2 minus 4 times 2w minus 1. So go ahead and pause your video, work out E, and then we'll go over the answer in 3, 2, 1. When you distribute, you should get negative 3w plus 2 minus 8w plus 4. When you combine your like terms, you're going to get negative 11w plus 6. Okay. All right, last one is part F, and I'm going to let you guys have one more practice here. So go ahead and pause your video and go ahead and try that one, and we'll go over the answer in 3, 2, 1. When you distribute, you should get negative 3x minus 3 plus 32 minus 4x minus 18. Then you'll combine like terms, so you'll have negative 7x and lots of like terms over here. It was me, I do negative 3 minus 18 first, which is negative 21, and then do 32 minus 21 over to the side and get a positive 11. So you should get negative 7x plus 11. Hope this goes well for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Good luck today.